Hello, it's Philip Taylor speaking from Richmond Green Chambers. The subject of this presentation is about legal aid. We're celebrating the 60th anniversary at the present time. This is the middle of 2009, and a new book has come on the market from the Legal Action Group. It's this book here, this yellow book. It's a small book. It's only got about 170 pages. It's called The Justice Gap: Whatever Happened to Legal Aid, by Steve Hynes and John Robbins. And as I say, it's a very welcome review of legal aid at the current time and where we are actually going with the subject. I've given it a title: Legal Aid, Justice for All in the Most Friendless Wing of the Welfare State. And this is the review on Flickr, and it's on all the main internet sites, and it's written in collaboration with my wife Elizabeth. And we attended a number of occasions where this book has been presented by the Legal Action Group. The position is this: legal aid in the United Kingdom has had a checkered history. As Helena Kennedy has rightly described it in her foreword, the original intention of legal aid was that it was to be an essential component of our welfare system and to be the legal services pillar of the welfare state. And of course, on the 30th of July 1949, when the Legal Aid and Advice Act was granted royal assent, its purpose was to ensure that anyone who needed legal advice would be able to access it. Obviously a laudable and utopian aim, but like most utopian objectives, very difficult to sustain and uphold. Disturbingly, of course, legal aid has since been tinkered with, tampered with, and considerably eroded. And viewed with alarm, for example, there are just two examples of such erosion amongst hundreds cited by the authors Steve Hynes and John Robbins, when they say successive governments since the 1980s have been toying with a conundrum: how to withdraw legal aid without removing access to justice for the ordinary person. And according to a report from the London School of Economics, 9 million adults fell out of scope for person injury actions between 1972 and 1989. So you can see that the way forward has certainly diverted. And in 2000, say the authors, New Labour embarked on a huge gamble. In one fell swoop, ministers scrapped legal aid for routine person injury cases. The almost immediate result was the emergence of new breeds of entrepreneurial law firms and a new breed of non-lawyer company to fill the newly created justice gap. Thus was the legal landscape dismayingly and markedly changed amid waves of quietly expressed disquiet among those few members of the public who knew what was actually taking place whilst it was going on. And the publication, therefore, of this short book, very concise in 150 odd pages, marks the 60th anniversary of legal aid well. As Kennedy says, it does represent the first major critique of the government's lamentable record on legal aid. And both Hynes and Robbins provide both a history of and commentary on legal aid, and they deliver it in a well-informed and timely criticism of the current government's attempts to reform the system. As I speak, we have another review taking place about remuneration for legal actions, and it'll be interesting to see how that develops with a general election in 2010. It's published, as I say, by the Legal Action Group, and the book takes an admirably practical stance on this thorny and difficult subject, postulating and suggesting a number of essential reforms to bridge the almost unbridgeable justice gap. Obviously, at the moment, we're looking at contingent legal aid funds, and that's certainly a direction both the current and possibly the next government will look at. Let me sum it up by saying that the book is an impressive attempt, and I'm reflecting here what the Liberty director Shami Chakrabarti has said when she goes on to say, because it's preserving the hope that everyone might have access to justice in this country. Therefore one hopes that the Justice Gap, this book, will be considered essential reading and an essential purchase by policymakers present and future, as well as learners, trainees and practitioners in one of the most friendless wings of the welfare state. It's an important addition to the debate on legal aid. We've got the budget frozen at £2.2 billion at the moment, but we don't know what the future is going to hold. One thing's for sure, and I know that from my law surgeries, that we're still getting a very large number of people coming through who need pro bono help. And so obviously legal aid must be there to cater for those people that we can't handle through the pro bono system. But thank you, Steve, and thank you, John, for an excellent addition. Bye-bye.